Hello everyone and welcome to Colors Fade's gaming channel. I'm your host Colors Fade. Today we're going to discuss No Man's Sky and the Beyond update which just came out yesterday. It says right here No Man's Sky 2.0, that means Beyond. And the biggest change already that's really nice is there's a quit to desktop button, but that's not what I want to discuss. I'm going to load my most recent permadeath save. There have been quite a bit of interest on the channel here, people watching the No Man's Sky permadeath run through that I was doing, people wanting to know if I was going to be playing Beyond and if I would be starting over, and what my plans for No Man's Sky content were on the channel. So let me give you the skinny. I will be doing a Beyond playthrough in the future, and I will start from scratch, and the biggest reason is because so much has fundamentally changed in the game, including but not limited to the biggest change is power for bases. There is a power requirement now for bases, and from what I've read on the Steam forums, if Subnautica is a game you've played, then you might be familiar with their power structure there, how you need to power the components of the base. It seems that No Man's Sky has borrowed that idea quite heavily from Subnautica, and so now all bases require a considerable amount of power. That is only one of the minor changes to the game. So I was here at this place where this crashed freighter was. One of the first things you might notice is that ships have been scaled up. It may not be as evident here, but in VR it's very apparent according to the people who play VR. The ships are much bigger now. I just wanted to compare the ship. This is where I left myself the last time I logged in. It's a C-class ship. I don't even care about it. But I wanted to go through a couple of the different things. That the camera looks different. The field of view is different. In fact, all these things are to some degree upgradable. Or not upgradable, but they're toggleable. If you go in here, I have everything set to high for graphics. And in fact, if I just set it to ultra, go like this, and it requires a restart, but it's already been restarted, so restart required for settings to take effect. Okay. On foot field of view, so this is something you can toggle now. I don't know what a good range is. I think 90 might be better. Anyway, I'm just showing you there are options now for all this stuff. Here's one of the unfortunate things is that in the control options you can read map controls, but as I found out yesterday when I logged in, this appears to be completely non-functional and broken. For instance, initiate landing. I like to map to my L key, and as I'm sitting here pressing it, nothing is happening. So all that seems to be broke at present, which is kind of a shame. The cockpit is different now. You can see the controls down in the thrust, like your thrust master control. There's the joystick on the right, and there's the thrust on the left, and the canopy came over as we got into it. This was all done to make the VR experience quite good. So one of the things you'll notice the pop in there on the frigates and freighters down there below. That is, they've done some graphics changes to the game that apparently have to do with the Vulcan. And now we're seeing pop in is really bad for things like grass and ships in space and things like that. The draw distance has been drastically reduced, and I haven't even looked for a way to change it, and I haven't heard that there is a way to change it. This also happens a lot now. If you have an upgrade module that you haven't used to upgrade, this pop-up will show up, this dialogue on the bottom right here. This happens all the time now. It's very invasive. So the point I'm trying to make with this is there were a lot of changes made to the game, substantial amount of changes. And that's all well and good, but in its current state, Beyond is a bit broken. As somebody on the Steam forums noted today, it's a bit like an alpha of the game again. As far as quality goes, you can see right here, there's some graphical anomaly here. And then you get out. The bays have been extended so that taller ships no longer hit, which is fantastic. But they didn't widen the mouth of it at all. And so you're still flying a giant ship through a tiny space. So there's still some re-architecture that needs to go. And you can see my ship over here is much bigger than it used to be. And there are considerably a greater amount of stairs to get up into them. This is all fantastic. I love the bigger ships and the bigger bays. But logically, these windows need to be bigger. It feels like a lot of changes that were just sort of half-baked or not fully tested. And of course people are defending, saying, well, it's a small studio, and of course people who love games are going to defend them. The biggest problem already on Spaceships is the ability to create storage, and you can see there's nowhere to put it. I can put it down at the end of the hall, and you can see these dots here where it's telling you where it can be put. Unfortunately, so you have to be a long way away from that dot for it to want to stick, apparently, which is really weird. So I can put it right there, and that worked, but that was really bizarre. How far away I have to be for that to work. And then of course you can see the upgrade module pop up happening again. So, and then I have to right click out of it. And they've changed the control. And so here's the other problem. Look, you could see through space because they didn't rescale all of this. Something about this is completely broken and off. So I don't know what this is. There's your storage container. That's kind of nice. But that's broken. That's not correct, right? So there's a little bit of a problem there. Now, these are just some of the glitches that I'm bringing up here early in this video. And so you can see the pop-in right there of that. I want to show that again if it'll do it. No, it won't. You got to go all the way through the door. Okay. Which is really weird. I want you to see that pop in again for the textures on that wall if it happens. See, look at that. I mean, that's just, quite frankly, that's horrible. And I don't know why that's happening. You can see the shimmer on the wall there. All of that is really unnecessary and pretty much disgusting for a game that has looked really, really awesome for a long time. Or at least really well. And now it's just like, what? I don't understand. There's something going on with the anti-aliasing or something that's making it shimmer like that. I don't know what that's about. You can see how jagged the lines look up there. So obviously I have to do some fiddling with the graphics setting to see if I can improve that, or if it's just a problem in their code. But that doesn't make the game look good. Now, that's not to say that that Beyond is junk. I'm not saying that, and that's one thing I want to make clear, is that there have been a substantial number of improvements to the game. For instance, I want to show this. There's a very, very neat new tech tree. It's neat because you can see how technologies get unlocked. And you can see what you have to get in order to unlock something. Well, okay, so here's one of the things I did want to show. The Discoveries page has been redone, and personally I like this a lot. To be able to look at a system and see clearly how many planets are in it and how many of the planets I visited. These two are unknown because I never visited them. I can go to the various systems here and see all this. I can look at them and see the one that I did discovered by Colors Fade, and you can click on it and it'll say view and it'll show you a bunch of stuff about discoveries, this is just really neat. Resources, the weather, the sentinels, this is all really cool. a little bit. See, look at the graphics and the popping. That's just... And I have a TI 1080 card with a ton of RAM on it. It was the best card that I could get in August of 2018. And it plays everything really wonderfully. So there's really no reason for this to be happening. They did redo this command. You still hit Z to bring it up, but now for PC users, you just have to hit the left mouse button instead of always hitting the F key, which is kind of cool. It's just going to take some time getting used to it, but which is really cool. But I wanted to show off one other part of this game that's new. It's obviously the graphics with my graphics card. You all watched my permadeath playthrough. I mean, the game looks good, and then now it doesn't, so that's a problem. But here you can bring up this menu, and you can summon the space anomaly at any time now by just using the menu. And the space anomaly is much bigger now. It's a lot more bigger than just Polo and Nada. And this is basically the hub where you're going to get missions with other players and do a bunch of really cool stuff. So this is neat. This is all really neat looking. I like the design a lot. The design is great. And you can see other players and you can see their ships all in this graphical detail that has really bad jagged lines. I mean, it's just, look, that's a... So there's this whole business. Weird. But there's been a patch overnight, so who knows. Anyway, this is the Nexus. If there are other players, there are more NPCs and more NPC types. There's a bunch of people to interact with up here. There's a bunch of different things going on. The other really cool thing is down below. See, there's a player right there. So that's kind of cool. So he's off doing his thing, whatever that player is. So this all looks really, really neat. And I think there's a lot of potential here in the hub. This is the Nexus. So you can see things like complete missions with other travelers. So you can get stuff like this. This looks, neat. But graphically there's a problem and there are bugs. And one of the bugs, for instance, is I've had my ship, only parts of it show up graphically when I'm out in hyperspace and things of that nature. So this all looks really neat, and I'm really excited to do a new playthrough, and I'm going to play on survival because I want to show you what it's like to play with other players, and doing that in permadeath is definitely going to be a death wish. And you can just imagine when some player decides to grief everybody else and on permadeath and everybody dies. So I'll be doing another playthrough with Beyond on survival, but I'm going to wait until bugs are fixed and until graphical issues are taken care of. Mostly bug fixing though. For instance, I don't even want to start building a new base until the bug issue is done, but that's where it's at. So for everybody who wants to see content coming with No Man's Sky and Beyond, it is coming. Unfortunately, I think they have a little while to work out on the patch, so in the meantime, please enjoy the permadeath playthrough. It ends at episode 91, for those who are curious, who want to know how much further it has to go. I'll be trying to do multiple releases on days now, scheduling them 3 and 4 episodes per day, because I finally have an upgraded internet and I can do that. Look at this graphical tweaking that's going on. I hope this shows up on YouTube. This is just really bad. So I'm really hopeful that Hello Games will quickly patch most of this in the next couple of weeks and get us back to playing a game that is wonderful. Alright folks, as always, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a question or comment, drop it down below and I will do my best to respond. I will see you guys next time. Keep watching.